Question 16. You are GCP practice head in your company. In your company, there are multiple departments and these departments need access to their own projects. Members within each department will have the same project responsibilities. You want to set up your cloud environment in a way that require minimum maintenance. You also need to ensure that IAM permissions are easy to set up as each department's project start and end. What solution will you suggest for this requirement? Answer. Create a folder for each department. Assign the respective group the required IAM permissions at the folder level. Create the projects under the respective folders. Question 17. Your team has created an auto-scaling instance group to serve web traffic for an application. This instance group is used as back-end service for HTTP's load balancer. But you notice that this deployment configuration is not working as expected. All virtual machine, VM, instances and instance group are being terminated and relaunched every minute. Public IP address is not assigned to any instance. You are getting correct response from each instance using the curl command. How can you fix above problem? Answer. Ensure that a firewall rule exists to allow load balancer health checks to reach the instances in the instance group. Question 18. Your team has hosted a web application to serve static content on Google Compute Engine using managed instance group. Your team wants to use Cloud CDN to reduce latency for the customer. What suggestion can you give to your team to improvise the cache hit ratio? Answer. Do customization in cache key to remove the protocol information. Question 19. Your company has deployed an application in Compute Engine instances via Managed Instance Group. Operation team observed latency in scaling up of this instance group. Team found that this latency is because of time taken up by startup script to install all dependencies in any new instance. What suggestion can you give to your team to shorten the instance start time so that scaling can happen quickly? Answer. Create a boot disk image of VM with all dependencies pre-installed. Create instance template to use this new image to launch a Compute Engine instance. Create a new managed instance group that use this instance template. Question 20. Your company has a simple application which is deployed as single pod on GKE cluster. This application pulls messages from pub/sub and does some heavy I/O operation while processing messaging. You found that the application is slow in processing these messages after analyzing pub/sub metrics. Application is not able to process the messages in real time. Most of messages have to wait before being pulled by application for processing. What solution can you suggest to fix this issue? Answer. Use subscription/num_undelivered_messages metric to configure auto-scaling of GKE cluster deployment. Question 21. Your company's on-premises data center is connected with Google Cloud via 1 gigabit per second connection bandwidth. You need to migrate their 10 terabytes on-premises database into GCS bucket. What solution will you recommend to perform this data export? Your goal is to minimize the data transfer cost and minimize load on database in on-premises data center. Answer. Do offline data migration by using data transfer appliance. Question 22. Your company has an application deployed in a GKE cluster. You have 3 clusters for development, staging and production environments. Your operation team found that the team can do application deployment to the production cluster without first testing the application in lower environments like development and staging environment. As operation team head, you want team to be autonomous but want to prevent the direct production deployment. As Google Cloud Architect, what solution you can suggest to achieve this quickly with less effort? Answer. First, configure the binary authorization policies for all GKE clusters, development, staging and production clusters. Question 23. Your company wants to use Cloud SQL MySQL database for business critical transaction data. Which 2 features should you implement to ensure that the minimum amount of data is lost in case of disaster event? Answer. Binary logging and automated backups. Question 24. One team in your company is developing a web application using Go 1.12. The expected load on this application is not predictable. How would you like to deploy this application in GCP with minimum operation overhead? You also need to ensure availability of application during peak traffic as well. Answer. Develop the application on App Engine standard environment. Question 25. Your team wants to deploy your application servers in GCP, but database will resides in on-premise data center. So your team needs to set up a hybrid networking. What suggestion will you give to your team to set up VPC and GCP? Answer. Set up VPC in a way that both primary and secondary IP ranges of the VPC do not overlap with the on-premises VLAN. Question 26. Your team wants to deploy an application in GKE cluster in GCP. This application needs to authenticate users with an Active Directory which is hosted in on-premises data center. What solution can you suggest to your team which requires minimal effort? Answer. Use SAML for single sign-on. Question 27. Your team wants to migrate one of its critical financial application to Google Cloud. This application is used internally within the organization. Your security team will not allow to store users' sensitive information like login credentials in Google Cloud. In such case, what solution will you suggest so that users of this application can log into this application after migration to Google Cloud? Answer. Use Google Cloud Directory Sync, GCDS, to create users in Google Cloud. Use federated authentication by using SAML to authenticate users from on-premises identity provider. Question 28. You need to migrate your application running in on-premises data center to Google Cloud. You are not able to select right machine configuration in terms of CPU and memory in cloud. In on-premises data center, this application was optimally configured for efficient usage of resources. This application has been getting used uniformly throughout the week since multiple weeks. As Google Cloud Architect, how can you optimize the resource usage of VM instance running in cloud? Answer. You also need to take care of costing of VM as well. Select the machine type having CPU and memory configuration similar to on-premises instance. Use this machine type to create VM instance in Google Cloud. Configure the cloud monitoring agent and deploy the third-party application on these VM instances. Do load testing of your application in cloud for usual traffic that you were getting in on-premises data center. Follow the recommendations shown in Cloud Console for right-sizing of the VM instances running in cloud. Question 29. Your company is using Compute Engine instances to host its applications. There are 3 different environments: production, staging, and development environments. The production environment is very critical and used for whole day, while other non-production environments are critical during office time only. What solution can you suggest for optimum usage of these environments which can save cost during non-working office hours? Answer. Create cloud functions to stop the non-production environments after office hours and start them just before office hours. Use Cloud Scheduler to invoke these cloud functions.